Greetings and welcome. Welcome to this, our 7th day of AP Today. Yes, I'm counting the days. And 7 is a wonderful number. It's a wonderful number. It's a good thing to celebrate today. And so I greet you with thanksgiving to God for yet another day in the land of the living, for this wonderful opportunity to meet with you every day, Monday to Friday. I'm so grateful for all the guests who have been with us for the past 7 days. And I'm grateful as well for Mr. Tony Dial for being an agent of change to allow this program to be on air at this point in time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so for this week, we've been looking at from setbacks to comebacks. Many of us have had setbacks. And people have been asking me, so when are you going to tell your story? My story will take forever, but I've had some setbacks in life myself. And this is why I wanted to do this particular theme for an entire week. We are not going to have all week themes every week. But because this topic is as wide as it is deep, it was decided that we will do it for this, our second week. We had a theme for Mother's Day leading up to Mother's Day. And my guests this week will share about their stories, about some of the things that, they've been through and how they've been able to make a comeback. Yes, that's a word that you're going to hear over and over and over this week. Comeback. Because comebacks are indeed possible. As I said, it would take forever for me to tell my story. But let me just let you know a little bit. Before I started to write the column in the Daily Express, I had lost my business in downtown Port of Spain. I had a drapery/decorating business. And when I lost that business, it was devastating. I mean, to be in the heart of Port of Spain, you can understand why, to come and lose a business for different reasons, which, I'm not privileged to share this time because of time. And when I lost that business, I stayed dormant, for want of a better word, for an entire year. And that is the year that I became closer to God than any other period in my life. And at the end of that year, which was 1999, my son asked me, "Mommy, are you poor?" And that hit me. I mean, it hit me like, oh my God, because it was like I was living in a kind of bubble for that year. I was just selling all my personal stuff first to get by. And I prayed and I asked God to help me. And I got the inspiration to go into Express with a do-it-yourself drapery column. So that's how I got started at the Express. So do not despise small beginnings. It is hoped that this program will bring, positive messages in every story. Do not despise small beginnings. You may get a window. Don't look at the window, well, that's not what I want, and just sit down and do nothing, and hopefully the door will open. It does not work like that. Maybe it will work for some people, but that's not how it worked for me. And after writing the drapery column for the Christmas season, the editor at the time, Kathy Ann Waterman, she called me in the office in January of 2000 and she says, we've been looking at you. And my knees started to buckle. I'm like, oh my God. And she says, no, it's all good. We've been looking at you, and anybody who would take the time to sit down and write out the assignment by hand. I didn't have a computer. Didn't have a choice but to write it out. But I did it with excellence. I took my time, presented it professionally as I could have at that time. And we're looking at you, she says, what else do you want to do? I have a choice. And what came out of my mouth next is what has continued to be my reason to be. Anything that will help people. Anything that will help people. I remember at the end of that first year, 2000, the column started on the 10th of January, 2000. I remember at the end of that year, I was invited to a Christmas gathering, for want of a better expression. And the host of the program asked me to testify about what God had done for me that year. I spoke about the column, and I was reprimanded after. Nobody wants to know about your column. If you want to testify, listen to so-and-so testimony, please. Everybody's testimony is going to be different. I use my story not because I want everybody to know my business, but because I'm about my Father's business. And this is not a religious show. It is a real show about real people with real challenges, with real solutions. The solution that I continue to offer, to encourage people with is that I point them to the triune God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I'll pause there for today and welcome my first guest, Donna.
Good afternoon, my dear. How are you?
Good afternoon. Oh,
such a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. And as I would have alluded earlier, just now, we all have a story or stories.
Oh, yes.
I have 10 books of stories. Tell us your story, Donna.
I think, as you rightly said, everybody has a story. And life is made up of stories. And for each of us, the chapters would look a little different. So in terms of experiencing some type of setback, it's going to happen. If it hasn't happened to you already, it's a guarantee. It's going to happen. Whether it is some emotional distress, maybe it's a financial challenge, maybe it's a health problem, there's always something that will face you. But you just have to bear in mind that the intent is that it's not going to kill you. It's supposed to make you stronger. And a lot of times we get caught with that.
I said yesterday on the program, I had 2 gentlemen guesting yesterday, and I said no experience is wasted. No experience should be wasted.
That's it.
But it all depends on how we respond to them.
And I was recently pointing out to someone that for those people who are into tapestry and crocheting, when you look at the underside, you see what they consider to be ugly because of all of the work that's done. But that is a part of the tapestry itself that makes it what it is.
Yes.
And so for us, we go through different challenges in life, those patches that would make us who we are, and all of those colors come together to make us the individuals that are just exceptionally unique.
Wonderful. That's a wonderful illustration. Very good. Are you a motivational speaker?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's beginning to rub off.
Hello.
For me, it has been a number of things. From a health perspective, I had the experience a couple years ago where I was doing some cleaning and I was suddenly out of breath, and I just thought, I'm just tired because it was a rough week. I had so many things going on, so I just thought, well, I was pushing myself too much, and I paid it no mind. But by the following week, I was in bed and I suddenly realized that I just could not breathe. And so in the wee hours of the morning, I had to get up and I spoke with my mom, and I'm telling her, I said, listen, I'm having a breathing challenge. It's really, really a struggle. I need to go to the hospital. And when I went, that was the first time that they told me that they said I'm asthmatic. Right?
I understand what you mean when
yes,
you say
they said I was asthmatic. And I was there for almost 6-8 hours on a nebulizer simply because it just would not settle. My breathing was as such where you could actually hear it rattle in the room. And they took the x-rays, they did all the necessary things, and by the following day when I went for the diagnosis, the doctor held up the x-ray and he says, so you smoke? And I looked at him and I said, no, I don't. And he said, well, you might as well, because the amount of smoke that's on your lungs.
Is it secondhand smoking?
And it was a case where my circumstances put me in an environment with a lot of smoke. So out of that secondhand smoke, it developed into asthma, and it was absolutely terrible. I sing. And so the idea of not being able to take a singer's breath was devastating for me. And it really threw me into a state of depression because you're used to doing things in a particular way and suddenly you really just cannot even take a breath. And so, when I go out and people are talking with me and they say, how are you today? And I would say, let everything that has breath praise the Lord. I knew that for me it was literal because sometimes I could not take a breath. And I was put in a position where one day I sat down and I said, God, you have given me a gift, and I have said I would give it back to you. And now it's as if you're taking the gift away from me. What am I supposed to give to you? You know? And as I thought about it, I was able to come to that place of realizing that what defined me wasn't my voice, it was my heart. So that I was able to get what defines me is not my voice, it's my heart.
So we put too much attachment to the things, not necessarily things that you can hold.
Exactly.
But my gift, I could do this, I could do that.
This. And that is what really defined you, because when you walked into a room, everybody said, you know, this is Donna Kay, and she sings.
And she sings.
So that in your mind, it was set in that place that is who you were. So that now that I was faced with this challenge, now I had to ask myself, well, who am I? Really, who am I? Is it that I'm a singer? You know, and I was able to take that lesson away from it. You know, that I had to go through this in order to understand who I was and to be comfortable with who I am, so that whether I was singing or not, I was still Donna Kay George.
Precious.
I was still someone who loved God. I was still someone who had an anointing on my life. I was still someone with purpose. You know, if it took a different shape, then that was fine. You know, so I was able to do that. And strange enough, it had a very interesting side effect.
Okay, I need you to hold on to that thought. We're getting ready to take a break. And we'll be right back.
We at TV4 believe that sport is not getting the media platform it deserves. Hence the reason we came up with 4 Sports. I'm Wayne Cunningham.
And I'm Gregory McBurney. Are you tired of seeing 5 minutes of sports crammed into a newscast? That's why we here at TV4 dedicate an entire half hour to sport. In-depth analysis, highlights, and even discussion of a trending topic.
4 Sports, weeknights from 7:30 p.m. right here on TV4.
Granny Hospital started off really as a county hospital. Our accident and emergency visits have grown over the years. We have doubled in the number of persons passing through accident and emergency.
We have an open floor with all specialties that come in. So we see every range of patients, from pediatrics who are babies to older patients, geriatrics, and everything in between. We see cardiac cases, trauma cases, obstetric cases, gynecology, everything that comes through our doors. We have a fully running 24-hour service, 24/7, where we facilitate members of the Eastern Regional Health Authority. We are a service built on the pillar of improvement, so that we are constantly striving to facilitate change that will ultimately benefit the people that we serve.
Tuesdays, join us for Lowy Talk, a riveting entertainment talk program on TV4. Stream it live on www.gisltd.tt/TV-4. Tweet the panel at Our TV4, #Lowy Talk, or call in and share your views. Come, Lowy Talk on Lowy Talk, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. exclusively on TV4.
Think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away.
And welcome back. The conversation continues, and with me in studio is Donna Kay. And Donna Kay, we went to break with you saying
that the experience brought an interesting side effect.
Yes.
Because I now had this challenge in terms of breathing, I had to learn how to compensate.
You still have the challenge?
I still have the challenge. Ever so often it would flare up, but it is not something that I focus on. Over the years, what I've done, I've paid attention to my diet in terms of what would actually trigger it. I pay attention to things that are stressful, which also would trigger it.
Are you still in that smoke environment?
No, I am not.
Okay.
And that is one of the biggest victories that I was able to have, so that I didn't have to contend with that.
Yes.
So it was just now a question of now managing how the lungs function, right? So the thing is, I still sing, but here's how it works. Of course, when I do go to sing now, because I'm very well aware that it could be my last breath, the singing has taken a whole new dimension to it. And it is really amazing to see how it works, because there are days when I may be invited to a function to sing and I really don't have the breath. But being able to stand in the grace of God and in His strength and in His power, it just comes across so well for His glory. So it's an interesting side effect to watch God do that, because I know that physically I really don't have the strength to do it. So it is all Him. So I enjoy it even more now because of that challenge. I
relate to what you're saying, because I have showed up for speaking engagements several times, not feeling well. Sometimes my head is pounding up for whatever reason.
Yes.
And I sit and I pray, and when they give me that mic, the words come.
It just comes and it just flows.
I continue to be amazed at how it works. But you see, that's what happens with your gift.
That's it. That's it. That's
when
it.
You're operating in your gift. Go ahead.
Yes. So that has been one of the instances where I've seen God really just bring me from a setback to a comeback. And for each instance where He gives me an opportunity to overcome a new challenge, I get an extra lesson from Him. So in one instance, I'm vertically challenged. All right?
Oh, girl. So welcome to my world.
So in order to reach things, sometimes you have to jump. And I've discovered that the higher you want to jump is the lower that you need to stoop. So that He brought it to my attention that sometimes you need to go down a bit in order to come up. So I have been able to keep that at the back of my mind. Another lesson that He pointed out to me is that of an archer. For the arrow to be able to hit the target, to hit the bullseye, what the archer does is that he draws the bow back. So what seems like a regression for the arrow really is a setup for propulsion and speed for direction.
Wonderful. So you've discovered another gift. So you brought along a couple of the things to show me.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that the other challenge that I had was financially. I was in the workplace. It didn't work out. I was on my own for a while. And so I was trying to get back into the workplace. And that was a challenge. One was because of my age, because people were not too quick to hire someone who is mature, because that brings a certain amount of challenge to the workplace. And then at the time I was doing some studies, and believe it or not, that presented a challenge for some employers.
The fact that you were studying?
Yes. And that was a big surprise for me. And I still was able to take it that to them it came across as a threat. So I still tried to take it in stride. But I had an interview. It went well, got hired. I was so excited. And you know how we do it. You know, you begin to make plans and you begin to lay out your budget, and you dream dreams, and you lay it out in terms of the financial things that you want to accomplish. Yes. And then one night I got a phone call to tell me that my boss had gotten into a vehicular accident and it was fatal. And that just knocked the wind out of my sails, because I had just started back getting into being comfortable in terms of how my finances were, you know, and that was just a huge blow. And so I'm asking God, well, giving in one hand, taking in the other. I know that it's a setback, but I've learned from past experiences, you're up to something, so what is it?
Is that how you really feel now, that He was giving in one hand and taking?
That's what I thought at the time.
No, but now.
At the time. Now, hindsight is always 20/20.
There you go.
So that now you see it as not just as a setback, but a setup.
Yeah, for a comeback.
So He started to bring to mind all of the fun that I would have making postcards to give to people for their birthdays and for Christmas.
And the posters.
And doing little posters and doing little bookmarks.
And thank you for the gift that you brought me
today.
Oh,
you're very welcome. And so I thought, well,
just hold it up so obvious.
I did something before. All right, this is what it looks like.
One of them.
This is one of them, right?
True love.
Yes, talks about true love, that love chapter in Corinthians, that love is kind, we should love is
yes.
kind, right? I had a friend who, as a teacher, told me that they had this idea and they didn't know how to put it across, so I was able to do this for them, to let them know that, in terms of a teacher's prayer.
Did you always have this gift?
Well, apparently I did, but I just never paid attention until that night, And even in terms of the bookmarks, being able to get the colors, your contrast, and all that stuff.
Is it that you were forced to make some lemonade with the lemons?
I tell you. And there was an abundance of lemons.
Oh, okay.
But I think the one thing that really pushed it for me is that they asked me to write down some information for them. And when I wrote it and I handed them the paper, the person said, you just have such a lovely handwriting. And it sparked in my mind that all my life people have been telling me that, but I never really paid attention because it's my handwriting, there's nothing to it.
Yes.
Right? And
use
so
what you have.
I was able to come up with the idea of starting my own business called
What is the name of the business, please?
Unique Presentations. It's a unique, pleasant presentation.
I love it.
It's very unique. And what makes it unique is that the majority of the things that I do are actually done by hand. Whereas people use a lot of computer-generated material.
Yeah.
What makes it unique is that it's done by hand. So it's calligraphy. And so I started doing it, and the impact really has been marvelous to see, because I love to see people smile. And so when you give them something that's literally from the heart, you see it register on their faces, and it has really been such a joy to see that.
How long have you been doing the business?
I have been doing it now seriously for the last 3 years.
Wonderful. And what has the response been like?
It has been fantastic.
Praise God.
It has been fantastic. You know how we just love to talk?
Yes.
It's the best advertising ever. It really is the best advertising ever. And to have people endorse it, I think really is the weight.
Word of mouth is always the best advertising.
Because when someone says, I got your number from this lady, you made her some postcards and I just loved it and this is what I want.
You know what that just brought to mind? It's, I love quotes. Do what you love and the money will follow.
That's exactly it.
Lesson.
That's exactly it.
Do what you love and the money will follow.
Because I was thinking, oh my goodness, who is going to buy a postcard? And the thing is, we talk ourselves out of the best ideas that we have. We don't even give people the opportunity to talk us out of it. We do it ourselves. And I was one of those, because I thought about it and I said, who is going to buy a bookmark? In an age of electronics where there's Kindle, who is going to purchase a bookmark? Because people don't really read
still
paper
like the
books.
Personal touch, yeah.
Or who is going to buy a postcard when you could just go into a store and just buy something? But that was something that I had to overcome in my own mind.
And how did
that took a bit of a challenge for me, right? But eventually I was able to get to that place of recognizing that in itself, it is a unique product that people want.
Exactly, but you had to first appreciate it yourself.
And I had to appreciate it myself.
Wonderful.
That's the whole thing. And so it really is a question of your own mindset and how you look at it. And that, to me, really is the key of changing something that is a setback to a comeback. It's about you thinking about it.
Wonderful. How can people reach you? Can you give us your number, please?
Yes, I can. My number is 733-6465.
One more time.
733
Yes.
6465. And the name is Donna Kay.
Donna Kay. What is one of the big things that has come out of unique presentations?
Presentations.
I got it.
Yes, it is.
Unique presentations.
One of the big things, and it was a real challenge for me, there was a celebration for a bishop, and they wanted to present a plaque. And so they gave me an idea as to what they wanted to see and what they wanted it to look like. And so I was able to come up with a poem that would run with that, and was able to have it framed and laid out, and being able to do it in terms of the calligraphy, it really stood out. And it because it is personalized, that is what really makes it so impactful. So that even in just seeing it, I myself was surprised. I was like, wow,
you surprised
I would buy that.
Wonderful.
You know, so
What
that
part
was really
of the
it.
country, you don't have to give me the specific address, but east, west.
I'm in the East.
You're in the east.
Yes, yes, where the wise men are said to come from.
And the women too.
And the women.
Hello. Yes. Anything you want to share with the person who is listening and feel that what they have, that gift is not enough?
It's not just that the gift is enough, but you are enough.
Say that again.
It is not.
Say that again. Say that again.
It's not just that the gift is enough, but you are enough.
That's a powerful lesson right there, you know.
Yeah.
I hope people
you are enough.
internalize
You are
that.
enough. For all of the years of experiences that I've had, the good and the bad, I recently came across a quote that summed it all up for me. And that is what I would share with the person. It's a quote by Smith Wigglesworth. Strange name, I know. But it says that God has appointments with us in our disappointments. And to be able to see the pattern, we need to engage it from our heart, from our minds, and from the cross. And that is what I really would like people to connect with. That in your mind, if you win that battle in your mind, it begins to drive your heart in terms of your passion and your purpose. And if you are grounded in your faith, there really is nothing that you cannot accomplish.
And it's important to be your best encourager.
Yes.
Your biggest encourager.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
That is definitely it. So you have dreams. You may feel as if nothing is happening. But the beautiful thing about a seed is that you don't see anything happening in the ground and suddenly it shoots up. You just need to be patient. You need to really believe that it is possible. It's going to happen.
Was lack of finances a problem?
You better believe it.
But you did not.
But
you did not make it.
Do
a
not
problem.
let that be the problem.
Okay, and your parting word to our viewers?
Love yourself. That would be it. Love yourself. Because in these trying times, you may look for someone to give you that support, and you're going to add to your disappointment. But if you just love yourself and realize that God made you special and He does not make mistakes.
Oh, girl.
You know, once you get that into your head, it gives you the momentum to be able to push forward. Sometimes you don't make giant steps. Sometimes it's baby steps.
Yes.
And that's fine,
Okay.
you know. But definitely love yourself.
Love yourself. And give us your phone number one more time, please.
It is 733
Yes.
6465.
And the name of the business is
Unique Presentations.
That is unique. And we are getting ready to take a break, but we'll be opening up the phone lines later on in the second segment. And my next guest is somebody you've already seen right here on AP Today. Come on back.
Think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away.
Every Wednesday is Sports Wednesday on TV4. Join us for the hardest hitting sports talk show on all your favorite sport topics. Stream it live on www.gisltv.tt/TV-4. You can tweet the panel at our TV, #Sports Wednesday, or you can call in and share your views. Watch Sports Wednesday every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. exclusively on TV4.
On April 25th, 2015, more than 7,000 persons have been killed by the Gorkha earthquake in the Democratic Republic of Nepal. The Government Information Services Limited has joined the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, along with international bodies, to assist in sending relief supplies to the people of Nepal during this devastating time, by starting the Nepal Relief Fund. The funding will be used to contribute to the life-saving priorities of those affected. Rajendra Arjun, former head of the Trinidad and Tobago Red Cross Society, has made the initial donation of $5,000. We wish to encourage you, the citizens, to pledge and support this worthy cause. Please make all checks payable to GISL with the word donations in brackets. Or you can walk in, drop off your donations to our offices, at TIC Building, Lady Young Road, Mover. Call us at 225-ICON, that is 225-4266. Or call me, Rhonda, at 674-1333. My extension is 4004. Join us. Donate to the cause. We can do this together.
I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away.
And welcome back. In studio with me is a young man who is certainly not a stranger to me, and he was here last week, Tuesday, but he spoke about his mother, seeing that all of last week we focused on mothers leading up to Mother's Day. And I welcome again to the studio former Lieutenant Gerald Placid.
Thank you.
Welcome again.
Thank you.
Yes.
Pleasure.
And I've looked forward to this because I know that you've been interviewed on other local television shows, but I wanted you on here because so some people might have missed what you would have shared. So what's the first thing you want to tell us about first of all, about your beginning, because the theme, as you know, is from setbacks to comebacks.
Well, it all started with the relationship of my father. Mm-hmm. That was, I had my part to play and stuff in it. Our relationship went south. And with that, I ended up frustrated. I was suicidal, ended up roaming on the streets from pillar to post. I had my issues. My self-esteem was obliterated. I didn't like me. I didn't understand what love was, really and truly. For my dad, it was tough love. Years later, I understand that it was what he knew. But I'm grateful for everything that I'd gone through, as hard as it was. I had my issues. Gerard, I sometimes would, probably lie for different reasons, and I just didn't like me.
What age are you talking about here?
From a child growing up, Mm-hmm. I was just looking for acceptance, and many people didn't understand who I was. They knew that I had a problem, and for me back then, I was an issue, particularly around the church, because of my habits, and so I want to be very, very. I don't want to use the word cautious, but I'm saying it as this. This is my story. When you are written off by man, you're not cancelled off by God.
I'm so happy you said that. Please say it again.
When you are written off by man, mm-hmm. you're not cancelled off by God. And
a lot of us have been written off.
You would remember mm-hmm. that, particularly what it is I went through here in Trinidad and Tobago. Mm-hmm. Everybody had something negative and stuff to say, as though it was the only thing that they saw. I ended up on the streets and moving around. People would call me pushy around gospel concerts, and gospel artists would, oh, look that. And I distinctly remember AP. My first major concert was when you held the Expo many years ago at Spectacular Forum. And there were people who didn't want me to sing, oh, that boy this and that boy that.
They told me you should.
And that, yes. Mm-hmm. And look out, that boy, might take your purse or something like that. And I walked away, and I remember you pulled me back. And he said, son, you're right. And there was water and stuff in my eyes. And I said, you know, I sing. I just want to sing. And you said, I want to showcase you. And if you remember, I told you, you asked me if I had another shirt. And I told you, no, this was all I had. And you went by the guy, and you tell the guy, give me a shirt. I want a shirt, and I went and I sang. And if you remember that day in Spectacular Forum, that was it.
Yeah,
and then they asked you to bring me back the night in question. And then I would move on. You know, sometimes the people who you least expect to help you is the ones who help you the most. When I remember names like Sadiq Baksh, Mr. Pandey, Joan Yule Williams, and many others, Bishop Gavin Garraway.
They opened up doors for you.
Yes, Dr. David E. Bellamy, people who didn't write me off. And particularly Bishop Garraway. When I was singing in Woodford Square, you remember the story with Bernadette Laughlin Scott, who gave me that opportunity and stuff. And then sang at Queen's Hall. Trevor MacDonald heard, hooked me up, went to England, sang for the Queen, came back here. Government shall make room for you and shall take you before great men. And I continue to say that some people say and stuff is arrogance, but I tell people and stuff, you see the glory, but understand the story and stuff behind it. And I didn't finish school, had no subjects, had nothing. All I had was just a voice. And I just wanted to sing. And they didn't understand that here. And so, Jarrett this and Jarrett that and Jarrett the other. And Jarrett got fed up. And so I really thank God for people like yourself who gave Jarrett a listening ear. You understand? Jarrett was no saint. Jarrett knows that. You understand? But I thank God from out of my mess.
A message.
These are the messages.
A message has evolved.
I got the opportunity to go to the United States. No bank statement, no job letter. They invited me to the embassy. I went there. I sang, not knowing that Mr. Baksh had already spoken to them. You all need to hear him. And I sang right there and stuff at the embassy. I would never ever forget Sally Cowell. And was in tears. Stamped my passport. I didn't know anything about America. And I went up there to the United States and started singing. Years ago, Tidco heard of the story after USA had showcased me singing at the train station. NYPD would trouble everybody else except me. I would sing there with my hat and my Trinidadian t-shirt, and everybody would be like, you leave Trinidad to come and embarrass us? And people would spit on me.
But look at where, anyway, go ahead. I'm thinking of where you
I went on to sing, and it was Al Sharpton who heard me at 43rd and 8th.
In the train station.
Down Times Square. And hooked me up to go to Abyssinian. But nobody told me that the Clintons would be at Abyssinian on that same day. You understand? President Clinton was the guest and staff of honor. I sang there, and that's what opened up the opportunities via the White House. Everybody wanted to find out, how he got there.
This young man from Trinidad and Tobago.
President Clinton. I am grateful to the Clintons because they became, they played an integral part and stuff in me becoming a United States citizen.
Yes.
While there, I would be riding the train, pick up a flyer on the ground that spoke up the American McDonald's Gospel Soloist Award. For 41 years, it was only Americans and stuff who won. And I was constantly reminded and stuff about it. Americans have won. I went in there, and AP, as you would remember, I wasn't only the first non-American back then to win. I still hold the record of winning the American McDonald's Gospel Soloist Award for 2001, 2002, and 2003.
Wonderful.
So God really indeed has been good. With the military aspect of it, being there outside when the second plane landed, 9/11. That was it. There was an talking and stuff, my paws raising and stuff. But when our friends died from World Trade, that troubled me a lot.
Of course, that would have been traumatizing.
And so when we found out that, based on the intelligence back then that we got, that it was terrorists that did this, I became even more angry. And so I wanted to do something, but it was twofold. I was also seeing immigrants in the United States being taken advantage of. In other words, minor infractions immigrants were being arrested for,
and even sent back.
Yeah, yes. it was supposed to be the role of the federal government.
Yes.
But instead, you had local entities like NYPD taking the position of, back then it was INS, Immigration and Naturalization Service, and asking people, what is your immigration status, which is illegal. You can't. And so they were sending people home, and I started to realize that as an immigrant, I didn't really have a voice. The Lord laid something and stuff in my heart, and I really wanted to serve. I couldn't go in TTR. I tried the police service, but I had no subjects. Nobody wanted to give me a chance.
This is here.
Here. When I went there, I did a little exam, and I passed the exam, and I went into the military.
You started off where? I know because you've served in two areas of the military.
Well, National Guard first, and then I went active Army.
Right.
And became a ranger and worked my way all the way up to first lieutenant. For me, how that happened, they gave me that opportunity to use my gift and stuff as well, but I was also good with weapons.
I don't know if I want to hear
No, I was trained and stuff, and to use my hands, self-defense, and different things like that. I took all my hurts, all my achievements, everything, and I placed it into my job. I went out to Iraq, and I went with many, but not many of us came back.
And I know that is still painful for you.
Yeah, because, my body's here.
Careful of the mic.
My body's here. 5 of us.
Turn it so that the camera
5 of us went. And 2 of us came back. So, I keep this picture.
As a reminder.
Yes, my unit, my boys. But the thing about it is that I was able to use my faith to share with them. These men didn't write me off. I was there and they embraced me.
Yes.
And there were times and stuff I would say, why couldn't
your people?
Yeah, the church. Why?
Or even Trinbagonians.
On the whole. But God was setting me up for something huge.
Huge comeback. But hold on. We're going to go to a break, and then when we come back, you're going to explain some more about these, the accolades and all of that. Folks, we're going to break right now, and when we come back, we will continue the conversation with Jared Placid.
Think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away.
Join us every Thursday as we get tough about the economy, tough about business, and tough about government matters in Tough Talking Thursday. This week, host Nicola Barito discusses oil on the boil with guests Minister of Trade, Industry, Investment and Communications, Senator the Honorable Vasant Bharat, Richard Lewis, and Raquel Moses. Stream it live on www.gisltd.tt/TV-4. Tweet the panel using hashtag Tough Talking Thursday or call in and share your views. Don't miss Tough Talking Thursday every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. on TV4, Our TV.
And welcome back. In studio with me is Jared Placid, and he's been sharing about some of his experiences that would have led to several comebacks in his life. Now, Jared, I know that you've been through some really, really, really tough stuff, and it's not everything that we can talk about. But recently you went through, and we will come back to the accolades, but recently you suffered a great loss. Do you feel you can talk about it?
Talk about this briefly, I guess. I lost my daughter, a baby girl.
She was just a baby.
Yeah.
How were you able to come out of that and still show up to do the things that you've had to do?
It's still a task. I know that it affected her mother too and stuff in more ways than one. But for me, this was my first. Yeah. And God is merciful. She's in a better place.
How old was she when she died? She was a young baby?
Yeah, 4 months. Four months, but really connected. Yes. I would sing over that child in Mount Hope, and the brilliance, the radiance on her face, it did stuff. It really did stuff.
I know that it was really, really tough for you, and I thank God that you've been able to still stand. You're still standing in spite of it.
Yeah.
And we share your story today because somebody else may be going through some of the same things that you would have gone through, and from hearing your story, hopefully they would be encouraged.
Yeah, I fought even with suicide. I know that even after my first deployment, when I came back, it was a struggle to adjust. I was honorably discharged from the United States military with distinctions. I am still taken care of and will be taken care of for the rest of my life. I give God praise for that. Post-traumatic stress disorder it's real. Many of us don't really talk about it, but it's real. And for me, I'm still trying to acclimate myself to civilian life. Sometimes, you get angry, and I think people don't understand, but how could you? You didn't go to war.
Right.
And, my doctors shared with me and stuff, Gerard, the thing that is seemingly working for you is your music. And I would sing. If you look, some people call me the most animated singer.
I've seen you, so I know. And I know that your father is very proud of you because I was there for your birthday celebration.
Indeed.
And see how far that relationship has come.
Amen. God has used my dad. The Bible says that he will bring the hearts of the fathers to the children. I went to my dad. And I really love my father.
Wonderful.
And we've been able to resolve. This is what it is I would share with young men. I really think and stuff that you need to reach out. Don't wait until they reach out, because remember, they have already lived. They could leave the earth.
1 minute, please. A little second, really. to remind our viewers that the phone lines are open and you can feel free to call and share something with Jared or ask him a question. The phone lines are open. I believe the numbers are up. Yes?
Yeah.
And I do not want you to leave here without telling us about those two accolades.
Well, these are 2 of 17 proclamations that I've gotten over the last few years.
Yes.
In Trinidad, they called me Pushy. In the United States, they called it presented himself for the occasion.
I love it.
What happened is I also became an advocate for immigration reform and working with civil groups. We have Democrats and Republicans going at each other.
Okay.
While,
so,
this just speaks about the time that I've served and, goodwill ambassador for not only the citizens in the United States, Cayman Islands, Caribbean nations, and all of the others. Whereas the United States House of Representatives has set aside this day to honor and recognize the Caribbean community and Gerard Placid on this day for outstanding leadership. Now, therefore, I, Henry C. Hank Johnson, do hereby proclaim June 18th, 2010 as Gerard Placid's Day. Arnold Schwarzenegger also did it and stuff when I served California.
And the
other one, the other one from the president and stuff. So,
how do you feel having gone through all that and to have these proclamations? How does it make you feel?
I'm grateful, I am not, they say pride. Usually, I'm proud of my achievements, but
you haven't allowed
my
it
achievements is exactly my achievements is not who I am.
Right.
You understand?
Yes. Yes.
God has given me, the gift of gab and stuff like that,
and the energy.
And yes, that goes with it.
Yeah.
And so I use it to help others. Most people who think that they know me don't really have a relationship and stuff.
Okay, Gerald, hold that thought. Welcome, Princess Star.
Yes, hello?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
It is really a privilege for me to be able to express my feelings. Let me say good evening, special good evening to Gerard.
Afternoon,
good
sir.
Good afternoon.
All right, you'll call me sir until you know who it is. Could Rufus.
Oh, my goodness. How are you?
How are you, my friend?
Blessed and highly favored and flavored, man.
You had to put
Boy, it's been so long, but I'm amazed. I'm almost speechless, man.
I'm
almost speechless.
I mean, you would remember where we came from. We used to sing together.
That's right.
Years ago.
I sit down here with my father. You remember my father?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and we sit here and we were flipping through. We found, I said, stop right there, that is Gerard.
Wow.
God is good.
Right, and when you're expressing, I can attest to everything that you're saying. It's absolutely true. Your struggles in Trinidad, Gerard. I remember I was there. I want the world to know that, it's really from humble beginnings. It have anything more humble than humble? I don't feel so.
No.
Right, but humble beginnings, and boy, God really bring you a long way. So much so that even now you're a testimony to me. In the beginning, I led you. I want you to know right now you're leading me, man. I'm really very, very happy. And I would like to see you at some point in time, my brother.
Yes,
if we could make arrangements, it would be real good. I thank God. Don't do that now. I will start to cry too. I bless God for you, Gerard. You are a brother to me. In the beginning, I held your hand, and now you're holding mine. Praise God, and maybe off here or whatever. We need to meet and talk and rejoice together.
Yes,
I bless
sir.
God for you. I'm proud of you, man.
Yes.
Thank you so much for calling. And if you want others to see this interview, if they would have missed it, the repeat will run tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. All repeats are run Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. I want to hug you, but I can't.
Yeah, you know, my thing is that I am not, the tears has nothing to do with hurting or anything like that. I am in a good place and stuff in my life.
I'm glad you said that.
I have a good support factor.
Yes. Which is so important.
One of my best friends and stuff, she's been there for me, Josette. My dad, yourself, your family. And I found the love coming back here in Trinidad and Tobago. It has been astronomical.
Something that I've said yesterday, and I may have mentioned it today, and I probably say it all week, no experience is wasted.
It's true. So true.
Because when we can look back and take some good out of it and be able to tell our story so that other people can be encouraged and maybe even strengthened, then it would not have been in vain.
You know, it's ironic that you brought up that, but your guest before,
Donna,
alluded to the gift.
Okay, so I want you to hold that.
Yes.
We'll come back to what Donna said because we want to say welcome, San Fernando.
Hello? Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, I don't know the gentleman, but my name is Earl Halls, and I watch on TV, and he making my pulse race.
Oh.
This gentleman, he making my pulse race as a human being. I don't know him, but what I can say, whatever he passed you, he on the face of the earth for a reason. Yeah, because I pass you certain things too, but I say, he's speaking and he makes the whole pulse race, make it want to come here iron all. So I like to see him, I like to see him sometime. If I can see him now, just touch him, because he has something special.
Okay.
He has something special, because when we have picture there, how he went to war and he come back. He come back because he come back,
Okay, so if you would stay on the line and leave your name and number with the producer, please.
All right, no problem.
Please.
All right.
Thank you for calling.
You're
San
welcome.
Fernando. Yes.
All right.
Lives are usually, I want to talk to the young people out there, the people who they feel despondent, those who may have been written off, but understand that you're not cancelled off. Your gift, you may think that you don't have, could be as small as 5 loaves and 2 fishes. If that gift and stuff is planted and watered and nurtured,
go through the process.
Exactly, and it grows into a wonderful tree. My tree is growing.
Still growing.
My tree is still growing. It's being pruned, and I am still under construction daily. Still a work in progress. Still a work in progress.
Yes. Okay. Is there anything that you would like to say, not just to young men, but to men closer to your age or even older?
Yeah, stand up and be counted. Take responsibility. The handouts and stuff. Fellas, look, we bigger than that. We better than that. I'm looking forward to meeting people and stuff, networking. I want to thank you and Mr. Tony Dial, GISL here, Channel 4, hosting me, giving me the opportunity to share my heart.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And you've only just begun. I want to say that to you. And as we wrap up today, I wanted to tell viewers about my second book, Strengthened to Soar. My phone number is 352-4156. 352-4156. You can call me to order the books because they're only available from me. And yesterday, I forgot my usual closing line. Walk on water, because weak faith panics. Growing faith prays, and seasoned faith walks on water in the midst of the storms. Much love. Come back tomorrow. Remember that you can view today's program, tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Bye-bye.